Thanks, Carissa. Well, last week, Coastal Carolina was set to take on Liberty until Liberty was dealing with COVID issues and the game was canceled. Coastal found an opponent, though, in BYU, and the game was an absolute thriller all the way down to the end. Coastal winning 22-17. But the game provided an example of what 2020 has become and the inspiration for this week's edition of Urban's Playbook. Coach, you know, COVID has impacted college football now in a multitude of ways. You know, not really having a home field advantage anymore for most teams, but you think the importance of routine has been impacted the most.
Yeah, I've said this, Reggie, for many, many times. Every great player, every great coach, every great team, they're addicted to a routine. That means a quarterback every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to get their mind right for Saturday. They have to do certain things. Coaches, same thing. On my Thursdays, I had to be exactly a certain place, eat exactly the same thing to get my mind right. It's all disrupted. Now, I'm going to show you an example of what happens during the game planning part of a disrupted week. This is a call sheet. Every year at the end of the season, these are the number of calls. You can see those: first down, second down, third down. On this side, it's red zone and goal line. I want to focus on two areas. It's the third down and red zone. I call these the money downs. That's 14 times again. You're in third down, 14 times the red zone. We would spend inordinate amount of time on Wednesdays. Why? That was the money down. What's money down mean? We don't get paid to punt the ball. Third down, get the darn first down. Red zone, we don't get paid to kick field goals. You better score touchdowns. So we spend a ton of time on this. I want to give you an example. 2017 against Penn State. I can remember spending at least an hour and a half on Tuesday night, game plan in the red zone, this one play. Why? Our staff, we knew of this situation. We wanted to be on point, and we hit Marcus Ball for the game winner. We also practiced that thing over and over and over again during a Wednesday practice.
I hope people understand when you get into a routine for quarterbacks, for players, that builds confidence. That leads to that sort of execution. But, Coach, let's pull back the curtains for a little bit. Take us back behind the scenes for what a weekly schedule looks like and how it's disrupted.
So I think for the viewer, every minute of a work week is scripted out. And this is a practice schedule. Every minute of a practice schedule is scripted out. I want the viewer to vote. I know it's a lot of information. Focus on a couple of things here. First of all, this is Oklahoma in 2016. So this entire scripted practice is what? It's focused on Oklahoma's defense. And obviously, when I talked about the money downs, Reggie, here it is. This is red zone. So we focused on red zone, then we focused on third downs. I can't imagine not having that Wednesday practice like some teams are dealing with now.
Yeah, this is crazy. Imagine Brady as a quarterback, you're game filming, prepping for Oklahoma, and then 2 days later, hey, by the way, you got to go out and play another defense on a team. I think the only thing that you can do and what's important is get with your coach and start building the game plan, whether it's third down, red zone, these important areas, and just go out and execute everything you can do at a very high level. Don't worry about the 80 plays. Don't worry about, Reg, who you're playing against. Let's go out there, run the plays that we know that we can be fundamentally sound and execute.
Yeah, and I asked C.J. Marable about this exact topic. How much film could you possibly watch on BYU having to switch in the middle of the week? And he basically said to me, we just focused on what we did best. And so, Coach, you are 2 years removed from being a head coach in the middle of a pandemic. I want to know from you, what would you do in this situation?
Well, obviously, I've never dealt with a situation, but I have dealt with what? You lose your best player. Someone gets sick. I remember swine flu several years back. You're not without 4 players. So my mindset is when you're dealt with adversity, what do? You do exactly what the players do well. I would say, okay, Matt Leiner's my quarterback. Here is his 10 plays. Here's how I get Reggie Bush the ball. You go back and then also work on fundamentals. Because you know what? At the end of the day, you go back to fundamentals, do what players do well, there's a great chance you can win that game.
Coach, we talked about how the week was disrupted. Take me through how the entire calendar year has been disrupted for these teams.
Yeah, 2020 is the year of what? The year of the asterisks. Every record book is going to be the Heisman Trophy, asterisks. And you can see these routines are blown apart. Spring practice, a big part of development, gone. Most teams didn't have it. Summer training, that's when you get your players together, weight staff. A lot of teams had 0 summer training. They were on their own. Training camp, that's one of my favorite times. I would actually move in the hotel with the players. That's your time to bond. That's when you build your team. A lot of teams had at least interrupted training camps. Start of the season, Big Ten starts later, SEC starts earlier. Some teams start, then they stop. I mean, completely disrupted. And then the end season, like I talked about, I can't imagine what it would be like to coach players and on my coaching staff without a Wednesday prep practice. And quite honestly, Brady, some teams have handled the disruption very, very well. You can see them.
Yeah.
Some teams, quite honestly, have handled it very poorly.
I can tell you guys one thing. COVID's impacted our 2020 in a big way, but it's not going to disrupt our routine for our postseason party at Coach's house. My only question is Rob Stone invited, Coach? Is he coming along? Or?
You know what? I have Rob Stone's back. 2 calls. I'll have that all set. We're ready to go.
There we go.
We're back together.
Start your Saturday strong at 10 Eastern with a legendary college football lineup on the Big Noon Kickoff Show. Big Noon Kickoff on Fox.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here, College Football on Fox.